Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into a huge question, one that gets the very core of who we are. What exactly is intelligence? And more importantly, how does it actually work? We usually think about intelligence as some fixed number, right? Like an IQ score that's stamped on you for life. But what if that whole idea is just wrong? What if it's not some score you're stuck with?
And what if it's actually something much more active, more useful? Like a dynamic toolkit full of mental tools that you can pull out to tackle whatever life throws at you.
So let's do this. Let's solve the puzzle of intelligence itself. We're going to shift our thinking away from that static, fixed number and see it for what it really is, an active process. This isn't some brand new idea. Way back, the psychologist David Wexler gave this incredible definition. He said it was the capacity to understand the world and his resourcefulness to cope with its challenges. Just listen to those words. Understand, resourcefulness, cope. Those are all verbs. They're all actions. And that right there is the heart of it. This flips the whole script. Intelligence isn't just a thing you have, it's a thing you do. It's the moment-to-moment process of learning, adapting, and finding solution. Okay, so if intelligence is a toolkit, what's in the box? Let's pop the latches and take a look at the actual machinery of thought.
Right at the core, we've got what are called executive functions. Think of these as the CEO of your brain. They're the high-level processes that let you plan things out, stay focused, and juggle a bunch of different ideas at once. Honestly, they're the foundation for everything else we're going to talk about. So first tool out of the box, working memory. The best way to think about this is like your brain's temporary whiteboard or a mental sticky note. It's not just for holding information, it's for working with it, for manipulating it in real time. Anytime you're doing math in your head or trying to follow a complex conversation, that's your working memory in action. Next up, we have attention control. This is your mental spotlight. It's the ability to shine a bright light on what really matters, and this part is key, to filter out all the noise. And that noise comes from everywhere, right? The world outside, but also the random thoughts inside our own heads. Being able to direct that spotlight is absolutely crucial.
And the third major tool is cognitive flexibility. This is your brain's ability to pivot. It's how you think outside the box, sure, but it's also how you switch from one task to another, or look at a problem from a totally different angle when your first approach just isn't working. It is the engine of creativity. So you take those three things together, your working memory, your attention control, and your cognitive flexibility, and what you get is the very foundation of what we call fluid intelligence. That's our raw power to solve problems we've never, ever seen before, using pure logic and creativity on the fly.
Okay, so we've got this incredible toolkit, but a toolkit needs something to work on. So how does our brain take all the raw chaos of the outside world and turn it into something we can actually understand and use? Let's check it out.
Well, it starts incredibly small. Your brain doesn't just see a cat. It's way more granular than that. First, it detects the most basic features, things like simple lines and curves. Then it starts grouping those into slightly more complex shapes, like corners and angles. Only then does it assemble that into the final object. It's a total bottom-up build, piece by piece. And that process builds up into this amazing pipeline. You go from raw light hitting your eyes to this primal sketch of lines and edges to a kind of 2.5D model that has some depth. And finally, you get a full 3D model of recognizable objects. That model is your mental map of reality. It's the world inside your head that you actually interact with. But building this model isn't just a one-and-done thing. It's more like climbing a ladder. At the bottom rung, you have mere comprehension. You just get the basic facts. Then you climb up to compositional understanding. Now you're not just seeing facts, you're seeing how they connect, cause and effect. And at the very top, that's expert understanding. Your mental model is so deep and so refined that it feels like pure intuition. All right, so we have a mental model of the world as it is right now. But here's where the magic really happens. The real power move of intelligence is using that model to think about the future. And that's all about reasoning and planning. So our minds basically have two big modes of logic. You've got deductive reasoning, which is top-down. You start with a general rule, like all birds have wings, and apply it to reach a specific, certain conclusion. Then you have inductive reasoning, which is the exact opposite. It's bottom up. You're like a detective, gathering a bunch of specific clues and observations to form a general theory. It's all about finding the pattern.
And all that reasoning is what fuels our ability to make a plan. It's kind of like following a blueprint. First, you scan and analyze, just size up the situation. Then you forecast, you run those mental simulations, the what if scenarios. From there, you figure out your action sequence, the best order to do things. And this is so important, you create backup plans. Because let's be real, things rarely go exactly as planned.
When you put it all together, these forward-thinking abilities are what allow us to be goal-oriented creatures. It's literally how we draw a map from where we are right now to where we want to go. Okay, deep breath. We've looked at the tools in the toolkit. We've seen how the brain builds its map of the world, and we've talked about how we plan for the future. So now, let's put every single piece together. Let's watch intelligence in action. So how does it all click? How do we solve something brand new? It happens through a really cool process you could call attentional integration. It's 4 steps. First, segmentation. You just break the big, messy problem into smaller, bite-sized chunks. Step 2, focused attention. You use that mental spotlight to zoom in on the important pieces. Step 3, binding. You start finding the connections, building bridges between the chunks. And finally, integration. You put all those connected pieces together into one unified, elegant solution. And I want to be super clear. This isn't just for solving a Rubik's Cube. This 4-step dance, break it down, focus, connect the dots, and then integrate. That is the fundamental algorithm your brain runs to tackle any new challenge. It's how we learn, how we create, how we innovate. So let's bring it all the way back. We started off thinking about intelligence as this static number you're given, but we've seen it's not that at all. It's this beautiful, dynamic, active process, a powerful toolkit for making sense of the world and making things happen. So if intelligence really isn't something you have, but something you do, that leaves just one last, very important question. What problem will you solve next?